Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Prostrations to Ramana.
Deva, you have to unmute.
Thank you. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Prostrations to Ramana, who shines as the self in all beings. We begin today's satsang with a prayer by Srimati Sapna Ganesh. This will be followed by the chanting of Muktakatrayam by Sri Nanda Kumarji.
दक्षिणामूर्तिसारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमां रमणाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये आङ्गिकं भुवनं यस्य वाचिकं सर्ववाङ्मयम् आहार्यं चन्द्रतारादि तं नमः सात्विकं शिवम् ॐ नमो भगवते श्रीरमणाय नमो रमणा to everyone.
एकम् अक्षरम् हृदि निरन्तरम् भासते स्वयम् लिख्यते कथम् हृदयकुहरमध्ये केवलं ब्रह्ममात्रम् यहमहम् इति साक्षात् आत्मरूपेण भवति हृदि विषमनसा चिन्वता मज्जता आत्मनिष्ठो भवत्वम् देहं मृण्मय जडात्मकम् अहं बुद्धिर्लतस्यास्त्यतो नाहं तत्तदभावशुक्तिसमये सिद्धात्मसद्भाव कोऽहं भावयुतः कुतो वरधिय दृष्टात्मनष्टात्मना सोऽहं स्फूर्तितया अरुणाचल शिवः पूर्णो विभाति स्वयम् अरुणाचल शिवः पूर्णो विभाति स्वयं। नमो रमण।
Namo Ramana. We will now have the chanting of Upadesha Saram. इदमहं पदाभिख्यमन्वहम् अहमिलीनकेऽप्यलयसत्तया विग्रहेन्द्रिय प्राणधीतमा नाहमेकसत् तज्जडं ह्यसत् सत्त्वभासिका चित्क्ववेतरा सत्तया हि चेत् चित्तया ह्यहम् ईशजीवयोर्वेषधीभिदा सत्स्वभावतो वस्तु केवलम् वेषहानतः स्वात्मदर्शनम् ईशदर्शनं स्वात्मरूपतः आत्मसंस्थितिः स्वात्मदर्शनम् आत्मनिर्द्वयादात्मनिष्ठता ज्ञानवर्जिता अज्ञानहीनचेत् ज्ञानमस्ति किं ज्ञातुमन्तरम् किं स्वरूपम् इत्यात्मदर्शने अव्यया भवा पूर्णचित्सुखम् बन्धमुक्त्यतीतं परं सुखम् विन्दतीह जीवस्तु दैविकः अहमपेतकं निजविभानकं महदिदं तपो रमणवागियम्. Namo Ramana. We will now have 4 songs from Ramanacentre Sangeetam. The first one will be presented by Srimati V. Radha. The second one will be presented by Dr. Pratibha Sundaresh. The third song will be presented by Savitri Krishnan and Jai Shri Ram Krishnan. The fourth song will be presented by Revati Shankar.
Namo Ramana to all. Happy Dasara to everyone. Today I will be presenting a song written by Shri Kavyakanta Ganapati Muni, and the music is by Srimati Sulochana Natarajan. वीतरागमपि लोकवत्सलं देवतांशमपि नम्रचेष्टितं वीतरागमपि लोकवत्सलं देवतांशमपि नम्रचेष्टितं देवतांशमपि नम्रचेष्टितं देवतांशमपि नम्रचेष्टितम् शक्तिमन्तमपि शान्तिसंयुतं भक्तमन्तमपि भेदवर्जितं शक्तिमन्तमपि शान्तिसंयुतं भक्तिमन्तमपि भेदवर्जितं वीतरागमपि लोकवत्सलं देवतांशमपि नम्रचेष्टितं वीतरागमपि लोकवत्सलं देवतांशमपि नम्रचेष्टितम् ईशयामि पितुरन्तिकं ममान्वेषणं तु न विधीयतामिति ईशयामि पितुरन्तिकं ममान्वेषणं तु न विधीयतामिति संविलिख्य गृहतो विनिर्गतं शोणशैलचरणं समागतं संविलिख्य गृहतो विनिर्गतं शोणशैलचरणं समागतं वीतरागमपि लोकवत्सलं देवतांशमपि नम्रचेष्टितं वीतरागमपि लोकवत्सलं देवतांशमपि नम्रचेष्टितं देवतांशमपि नम्रचेष्टितं देवतांशमपि नम्रचेष्टितं देवतांशमपि नम्रचेष्टितम्. नमो रमण.
Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. This is Bhagwan's composition of Arunachala Ashtakam, verses 1 and 2, translated to Telugu by J.H. Bhimacharya and music by M. Rangarao. Bhagavan describes the mysterious and the immense power and true state of Arunachala in these two verses. He says, Arunachala stands as though it is an insentient hill, Jada, but works mysteriously beyond all human understanding. Since my childhood, I had the throbbing of Arunachala, yet I did not even realize its meaning, even after someone told me that it is in Tiruvannamalai. However, when it stilled my mind and drew me to itself, and I came near, I saw that it was the stillness absolute. In fact, there wasn't even a thought that I saw the self. Who can express the state by words, when even you, O Arunachala, explained that only by silence in olden times? Bhagavan is referring to Dakshinamurti here. It's only to reveal your real state that you stood resplendent, extending from earth to sky, unmoving as the hill. అరుణగిరి నిలిచినది జడము రీతి, తెలియదాయను జగము దాని శక్తి. అరుణగిరి నిలిచినది జడము రీతి, తెలియదాయను జగము దాని శక్తి. చిన్నప్పుడే నాదు చిత్తమున నిలిచే, భద్రమైనది నా ప్రజ్ఞలోన. చిన్నప్పుడే నాదు చిత్తమున నిలిచే, భద్రమైనది నా ప్రజ్ఞలోన. అరుణగిరి ఎంచు ఎరిగి తిని గాని, అరుణగిరి ఎంచు ఎరిగి తిని గాని, దాని మహిమా నాకు తెలియదాయే. అరుణగిరి నిలిచినది జడము రీతి, తెలియదాయను జగము దాని శక్తి. నన్ను లాగితివి నీ దరికి తుదకు, సూక్తమైనది మనసు చిత్రమేమో. నన్ను లాగితివి నీ దరికి తుదకు, సూక్తమైనది మనసు చిత్రమేమో. నీ పదము చేరితి తెరచితిని కన్ను, నీ పదము చేరితి తెరచితిని కన్ను. నిశ్చలుడు పరిపూర్ణ పురుషుడని వెరిగితి, అరుణగిరి నిలిచినది జడము రీతి, తెలియదాయను జగము దాని శక్తి. ఎవరు నేనని తలచుచుంటినప్పుడు, అంతలోపల నీలో లీనమైతి. ఎవరు నేనని తలచుచుంటినప్పుడు, అంతలోపల నీలో లీనమైతి. చూచినాడని చెప్పలేను కాని, చూచినాడని చెప్పలేను కాని, చూడలేదని ఎట్లు చెప్పగలను. అరుణగిరి నిలిచినది జడము రీతి, తెలియదాయను జగము దాని శక్తి. తెలిపితివి నీవు సర్వము ముద్రతోడ, పలికి తెలిపెడి శక్తి ఎవరికి కలదు. తెలిపితివి నీవు సర్వము ముద్రతోడ, పలికి తెలిపెడి శక్తి ఎవరికి కలదు. సత్యమును తెల్పుచుంటిని మౌనమందు, సత్యమును తెల్పుచుంటిని మౌనమందు. మేరుగిరివలె నీవు నిలిచినావు, అరుణగిరి నిలిచినది జడము రీతి, తెలియదాయను జగము దాని శక్తి. అరుణగిరి నిలిచినది జడము రీతి, తెలియదాయను జగము దాని శక్తి. తెలియదాయను జగము దాని శక్తి, తెలియదాయను జగము దాని శక్తి. ఓం నమో భగవతే శ్రీ రమణాయ.
ಎಲ್ಲೇ ಹೋಗಲಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಿನ್ನದೇ ಗುಣಗಾನದ ಮಳೆ ಸುರಿಯುತ್ತಿದೆ. ಎಲ್ಲೇ ಹೋಗಲಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಿನ್ನದೇ ಗುಣಗಾನದ ಮಳೆ ಸುರಿಯುತ್ತಿದೆ. ತನು ಮನದನಗಳ ಅರ್ಪಿಸಿ ನಿನ್ನಯ ಶ್ರೀಚರಣಕ್ಕೆ ನಾ ಕೇಳುತ್ತೀಯೇ. ಎಲ್ಲೇ ಹೋಗಲಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಿನ್ನದೇ ಗುಣಗಾನದ ಮಳೆ ಸುರಿಯುತ್ತಿದೆ. ಎಲ್ಲೇ ಹೋಗಲಿ ಗುಣಸಾಗರನೇ ಗಿರಿಯುನ್ನತನೇ ಆನಂದದ ಪಥ ತೋರಿಸು ನೀ. ಗುಣಸಾಗರನೇ ಗಿರಿಯುನ್ನತನೇ ಆನಂದದ ಪಥ ತೋರಿಸು ನೀ. ಆನಂದದ ಪಥ ತೋರಿಸು ನೀ. ನುಡಿದ ಗಂಭೀರದ ನಿಯಲಿ ರಮಣನು ನಿಶ್ಚಲ ನೀರು ಇರುವಲ್ಲಿ. ನಿಶ್ಚಲ ನೀರು ಇರುವಲ್ಲಿ. ಎಲ್ಲೇ ಹೋಗಲಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಿನ್ನದೇ ಗುಣಗಾನದ ಮಳೆ ಸುರಿಯುತ್ತಿದೆ. ಎಲ್ಲೇ ಹೋಗಲಿ ನಾ ಕೂಗಿದೆ ದನಿಯೇರಿನಲಿ. ನಾ ಕೂಗಿದೆ ದನಿಯೇರಿನಲಿ. ಆವಾದ ಊರಿನ ಭಕ್ತನಿಗೆಂದು ಕುರುಂದ ಮರದ ನೆರಳಿನಲಿ. ವಾದ ಊರಿನ ಭಕ್ತನಿಗೆಂದು ಕುರುಂದ ಮರದ ನೆರಳಿನಲಿ. ತಿಳಿವ ನೀಡಿದ ಶ್ರೀ ಗುರುವರ್ಯನೇ ಆತ್ಮದರಿವ ನೀಡು ನನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ. ಆತ್ಮದರಿವ ನೀಡು ನನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ. ನನ್ನ ತಂದೆ ನನ್ನ ಸರೆದೊರೆ ಶ್ರೀರಮಣನು ನೋಡಿದನು ಕರುಣೆಯಲಿ. ನನ್ನ ತಂದೆ ನನ್ನ ಸರೆದೊರೆ ಶ್ರೀ ರಮಣನು ನೋಡಿದನು ಕರುಣೆಯಲಿ. ನಿನ್ನ ಆತ್ಮವೇ ನೀನಾಗಿದೆ ಮಗುವೇ. ಸ್ಥಿರವಾಗಿರು ನೀ ಇರುವಲ್ಲಿ. ಎಲ್ಲೇ ಹೋಗಲಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಿನ್ನದೇ ಗುಣಗಾನದ ಮಳೆ ಸುರಿಯುತ್ತಿದೆ. ತನು ಮನದನಗಳ ಅರ್ಪಿಸಿ ನಿನ್ನಯ ಶ್ರೀಚರಣಕ್ಕೆ ನಾ ಕೇಳುತ್ತೀಯೇ. ಎಲ್ಲೇ ಹೋಗಲಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಿನ್ನದೇ ಗುಣಗಾನದ ಮಳೆ ಸುರಿಯುತ್ತಿದೆ. ಎಲ್ಲೇ ಹೋಗಲಿ.
ಓಂ ನಮೋ ಭಗವತೆ ಶ್ರೀರಮಣಾಯ.
Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Ramanaya. We are celebrating the 100 years of Muruganar Swami's coming to Bhagavan to Arunachala. Muruganar Swami has written more than 30,000 songs on Bhagavan, and one of his popular songs are the Vaitapattu. Vaitapattu is the song where Muruganar Swami says Ramana is the master of right placement. He has kept love in mother. He has kept knowledge in father. and he has kept truth in all the Vedas. Ramana is the truth, embodiment of truth. He has kept friendship in the heart and life in friendship, and that to that life he has given true meaning. Ramana is the Chinmaya Swarupa. He has kept truth in the tongue, and he has kept grace in dharma, in nyaya. And whoever does sharanagati to him, whoever has faith on him, he has kept abhaya, he has kept his blessing. Ramana is the Ananda Rupa. He has kept newness in old, and he has kept pearl in an oyster, and he has kept peace in devotion. Ramana is the Mukti Swarupa. These are a few selected verses from the Vaitapattu written by Muruganar Swami. I'll be singing the Telugu translation of this. The Telugu translation has been done by J.H.P. Acharya. The music for this is by V.S. Narasimhan. తల్లిలోన ప్రేమను పెట్టే, తండ్రిలోన జ్ఞానం పెట్టే, వేదంలోని నిజమును చూపే రమణుడు సత్య స్వరూపం. తల్లిలోన ప్రేమను పెట్టే, తండ్రిలోన జ్ఞానం పెట్టే, వేదంలోని నిజమును చూపే రమణుడు సత్య స్వరూపం. రమణుడు సత్య స్వరూపం. హృదయంలో స్నేహం పెట్టే, స్నేహంలో బ్రతుకును పెట్టే, హృదయంలో స్నేహం పెట్టే, స్నేహంలో బ్రతుకును పెట్టే, బ్రతుకునకొక అర్థం పెట్టే రమణుడు చిన్మయ రూపం. బ్రతుకునకొక అర్థం పెట్టే రమణుడు చిన్మయ రూపం. రమణుడు చిన్మయ రూపం. తల్లిలోన ప్రేమను పెట్టే, తండ్రిలోన జ్ఞానం పెట్టే, వేదంలోని నిజమును చూపే రమణుడు సత్య స్వరూపం. రమణుడు సత్య స్వరూపం. నాలుకకు సత్యము ఇచ్చే, న్యాయమునకు మెరుగను తెచ్చే, నాలుకకు సత్యము ఇచ్చే, న్యాయమునకు మెరుగను తెచ్చే, నమ్మిన వారికి అభయం ఇచ్చే, నమ్మిన వారికి అభయం ఇచ్చే రమణుడు ఆనంద రూపం. నమ్మిన వారికి అభయం ఇచ్చే రమణుడు ఆనంద రూపం. రమణుడు ఆనంద రూపం. తల్లిలోన ప్రేమను పెట్టే, తండ్రిలోన జ్ఞానం పెట్టే, వేదంలోని నిజమును చూపే రమణుడు సత్య స్వరూపం. రమణుడు సత్య స్వరూపం. పాతలో కొత్తది పెట్టే, చిప్పలో ముత్యం పెట్టే, పాతలో కొత్తది పెట్టే, చిప్పలో ముత్యం పెట్టే, భక్తిలో శాంతిని పెట్టే రమణుడు ముక్తి స్వరూపం. భక్తిలో శాంతిని పెట్టే రమణుడు ముక్తి స్వరూపం. రమణుడు ముక్తి స్వరూపం. తల్లిలోన ప్రేమను పెట్టే, తండ్రిలోన జ్ఞానం పెట్టే, వేదంలోని నిజమును చూపే రమణుడు సత్య స్వరూపం. తల్లిలోన ప్రేమను పెట్టే, తండ్రిలోన జ్ఞానం పెట్టే, వేదంలోని నిజ నిజమును చూపే రమణుడు సత్య స్వరూపం రమణుడు చిన్మయ రూపం రమణుడు ఆనంద రూపం రమణుడు ముక్తి స్వరూపం రమణుడు ముక్తి స్వరూపం. Namo Ramana. We will now have the reading and sharing of from the book Ramana's Muruganar. This will be done by Sri Nandakumarji.
Namo Ramana. In this, the book reading segment of our satsang, we have commenced in the last week the reading from Ramana's Muruganar, a birth centenary offering compiled and edited by our founder president, Shri A.R. Natarajanji. This was published in 1991, and we have seen in the brief portion of the introduction that we read that Muruganar comes to Bhagavan in 1923 when he was about 33 years old. Already a great scholar in Tamil, the compiler and author Natarajan Mama feels that Muruganar was the previous life when we come to Bhagavan. The previous life we see as totally illusory and nothing. But in Muruganar's case, it was a preparation for his work in Bhagavan. And we see Dandapani Swami, the father-in-law of Muruganar Swamigal, take 2 books, Aksharamanammalai and Who Am I? And these 2 works, one of Bhakti and the other of Jnana, completely take over Muruganar, and how his life was dedicated to Ramana is the point up to which we have read. Let's continue by briefly looking at the last paragraph we had read last week. His poetry was like a perennial river with its ceaseless flow. He composed more than 30,000 verses on a single subject, Ramana, in whose bliss he was soaked. One can say, if Ramana was an ideal guru, ideal Sadguru, Muruganar embodied in himself all the virtues enumerated for a disciple in the scriptures. His surrender was complete, his faith total and all-consuming. We continue. Readers of this book will find a detailed account of his life with Sadguru Ramana, his copious writings, the indelible mark on Tamil poetry, and his state of steady wisdom. The writers of the various articles have had the rare good fortune of being associated closely with Muruganar, his life and works. We therefore find the rich aroma of authenticity and a natural appeal. When the Ramana Maharshi Center came forward to celebrate the birth centenary of Muruganar, it did so for it is an exceptional privilege and blessing. We were surprised when some asked, who is Muruganar? Why do we celebrate his centenary? Ignorance of true worth cannot be more colossal. Was he not the peerless Tamil poet, a jnani reveling in the self? Yet, coming to think of it, they cannot be blamed entirely. If Muruganar's name is not found in the world's Hall of Fame, it is only because he wished it to be that way. Far from seeking name and fame, he shunned it. And what need was there for it? Ramana made him aware that he is the fullness of consciousness. Muruganar therefore remained content to be in the shadow of Ramana's feet, enjoying to the brim its ambrosial sweetness. However, It seems Ramana has decided that the time has now come for the world to know about Muruganar's position among the all-time greats in the galaxy of poets. How else can we explain the all-round enthusiasm for the celebration of Muruganar's birth centenary? Firstly, there was the ready response and sustained encouragement of the Department of Culture of the Government of India. Everywhere it has been smooth sailing. There is no doubt that the Tamil and the non-Tamil speaking world is going to be enriched by the projects being implemented for the centenary. Many works are being translated from Tamil into English, Hindi, Telugu and Kannada. Books which have been out of print are being reprinted. All this would open up new vistas of matchless poetry to those who cannot enjoy the Tamil original. The audio and visual media are being used to present the life of Muruganar, a true son of India's culture with its emphasis on inwardness and gentleness. I'll read that again. The audio and visual media are being used to present the life of Muruganar, a true son of India's culture with its emphasis on inwardness and gentleness. In the first few years of his stay at Tiruvannamalai, Muruganar was living at Palakuttu, which was then humming with spiritual vibrations. For nearly all who had taken only to Ramana and his teachings, like Vishwanatha Swami, Narasimha Swami, Kohan, Paul Brunton, and Kunjaswami, were there in their little cottages or caves. He then moved over to Dr. T. N. Krishnaswamy's building across the ashram. In the last decade of his life, Muruganar was an inmate of the ashram. For the devotees and seekers, this was a veritable boon. He was there before their very eyes as the epitome of what love for Ramana means. While there, he would ask the compositions on Ramana be rendered. As soon as the first words were sung, tears would start trickling down Muruganar's cheeks in a profuse and continuous flow. The whole atmosphere would be surcharged with Ramana's presence. Those were memorable years. I'll read that again. While there, in the Ramanashram, the last decade, while there, he would ask that the compositions on Ramana be rendered. As soon as the first words were sung, tears would start trickling down Muruganar's cheeks in a profuse and continuous flow. The whole atmosphere would be surcharged with Ramana's presence. Those were memorable years. Are not the last years of a Jnani's life in the body most fulfilling in many ways? When he breathed his last in August 1973, amidst the chanting of Arunachala Shiva, one could be sure that it was only his body which had died, for his poetry on Ramana had immortalized him. In accordance with the tradition that the body of the illumined person is a temple of God, his body was not cremated, but buried within the premises of the ashram, and a samadhi was built over it. For Ramana devotees, this samadhi is an inspiring and strengthening source for the quest within, for the search for self-knowledge. Readers may find a few incidents of Muruganar's life commonly mentioned in many of the articles. This is particularly so regarding the first meeting between Muruganar and Ramana. The first meeting of the disciple and the guru has always a fascination of its own, for it is an ageless relationship. I'll read that again. The first meeting of the disciple and the guru has always a fascination of its own, for it is an ageless relationship. Also, each one of the contributors has presented the well-known incidents in their own refreshingly different styles. It is hoped that this book would be an eye-opener to the stature of Muruganar as a poet. What an opportunity would it be if one were to read and reread and dwell on the meaning and depth of Muruganar's poetry. For its fascination grows on one imperceptibly but surely. One is led on to that peace which even a Muruganar cannot express in words. Natarajan Mama is excelling everything here. I'll read that again. For its fascination, the poetry of Muruganar, for its fascination grows on one imperceptibly but surely. One is led on to that peace which even a Muruganar cannot express in words. The reader and the poet are not there, but only the timeless poetry. The reader and the poet are not there, but only the timeless poetry. Bengaluru, 2nd October 1991, Gandhi Jayanti Day, Shri A.R. Natarajanji. I'm not reading the acknowledgements part and the contents. The contents are about 17 different articles by different authors on Muruganar and his great devotion and jnana. We make a beginning with the first article, which runs to about 40 pages, by Srimati Kanakamma. Muruganar by Srimati Kanakamma. When one thinks of Tiruvannamalai, automatically sacred Arunachala and Bhagavan Shri Ramana Maharshi, its human embodiment, come before the mind's eye. Similarly, when dwelling on the vast galaxy of Ramana's disciples and devotees, the focus of attention perforce is on Sri Muruganar, for his surrender to the Master was complete. Though Ramana had bestowed his own state of bliss on Muruganar, he was totally self-effacing, content to be a mere shadow of Bhagavan. Muruganar was born in August 1890 in Ramanacentre. His father was Krishna Iyer and his mother Subbalakshmi Ammal. Muruganar's father died even at his tender age. His mother brought him up. He did not speak till he was 5 years old. It appears that saliva would always be dripping from his mouth. He studied in the Scots Mission High School in Ramanathapuram till the 10th standard. Later, he continued his studies at Madurai thanks to the generous help of a relative. He was named Subramanian. However, people at home used to call him Sambamurthy. Due to his love of Tamil, he changed his name to Muruganar, corresponding to Subramanian, and his birthplace Ramanathapuram to Mugavai Muruganar. After completing his education at Madurai, he returned to Ramanathapuram. At the request of Venuswami Thevar of the royal family of Ramanathapuram, he used to teach him the Tirukural. All the members of that royal family held him in great regard. They were also deeply interested in Tamil. At that time, a Tamil literary giant, Radhu Iyengar, was the poet laureate of the royal court. Another poet by the same name also received considerable support from that family. All this gave an excellent opportunity to Muruganar to delve deep into the beauty of Tamil literary classics such as the 5 great works Silapatikaram, Manimegalai, etc. and also into Tirukural, Nannul and such other books. He was made a member of a committee formed for publishing a Tamil lexicon. Thanks to this, he moved closely with such eminent poets as Dr. Uve Swaminatha Iyer. Uve Swaminatha Iyer is called as Tamil Tata, Meenakshi Sundaram Pillai and Chengalvaraya Pillai. Practically every great Tamil scholar has spoken very highly of Muruganar's erudition in Tamil. The hallmark of Muruganar's Tamil was a wealth of meaning, modeled as it was on the lines of Sangam poets. He joined the Norwich Girls High School, Madras, as a Tamil Pandit. His mother and his wife, Meenakshi, used to stay with him. His father-in-law, Dandapani Swamigal, was a devotee of Sri Bhagavan. Once, when he came to Muruganar's house, along with Ayya Swami, he gave him Ramana's Arunachala Stuti Panchakam and the booklet Who Am I? At that time, Muruganar was an ardent follower of Gandhiji. He used to wear only khadi clothes. He was a staunch supporter of the freedom movement. He had composed patriotic songs titled Swatantra Geetam, on reading which both Dandapani Swami and Ayya Swami invited Muruganar to come to Tiruvannamalai. They assured Muruganar that Ramana would appreciate his fine compositions and that by Bhagavan's grace he would flower fully as a poet. Muruganar read avidly the works of Bhagavan given to him. They absorbed him totally. It was the starting point of transformation in his life. It may also be mentioned that the ground had already been prepared. Muruganar, after soaking himself in Manika Vachakar's Tiruvachakam earlier, was filled with a keen desire that he too should be blessed by a Sadguru as Vachakar had been. To him, Ramana seemed to fit this role perfectly. With each passing day, his yearning to be in the presence of Ramana grew until it possessed him completely. I'll read that last paragraph again. Muruganar read avidly the works of Bhagavan given to him. They absorbed him totally. It was the starting point of transformation in his life. It may also be mentioned that the ground had already been prepared. Muruganar, after soaking himself in Manika Vachakar's Tiruvachakam earlier, was filled with a keen desire that he too should be blessed by a Sadguru as Vachakar had been. To him, Ramana seemed to fit this role perfectly. With each passing day, his yearning to be in the presence of Ramana grew until it possessed him completely. Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Ramanaya.
Namo Ramana. We will now have a self-enquiry session which will be led by Sri Dilip Simha.
Namo Ramana. ध्यायेत् शारदचन्द्रसुन्दरमुखम् ताम्रारविन्देक्षणम् भक्ताभीष्टवराभयप्रदकरम् कौपीनमात्रोज्ज्वलम् स्वात्मानन्दरसानुभूतिविवशम् सर्वानवद्याङ्गकम् श्रीमन्तं श्रीरमणेश्वरं गुरुवरं योगासनाध्यासितम् ध्यायेत् श्रीरमणेश्वरम् ध्यायेत् श्रीरमणेश्वरम् ध्यायेत् श्रीरमणेश्वरम् हृदयकुहरमध्ये केवलं ब्रह्ममात्रम् यहमहमिति साक्षातात्मरूपेण भाति हृदि विषमनसा स्वं चिन्वतामच्युतव पवनचलनरोधात् आत्मनिष्ठो भवत्वम्। Namo Ramana. We will commence the evening Atma Vicharam by listening to Bhagavan's Upadesham and then meditating on it, then have a 10 minutes Atma Vichara practice. I'll be reading his Upadesham in the book Guru Vachaka Kovai from the chapter Experience of the Truth. The topic is Omniscience. Verse 926. Because you do not know any being other than yourself, Atma Swarupa, only the pure attribute-free consciousness that shines as fullness without any limitation is in truth the omniscience that excels unequaled. It is not the other knowledge that comprises simultaneously and completely knowing events in the three times, past, present, and future, and the three worlds. Here, Bhagavan is saying the normal understanding of omniscience for us is that we know everything of the past, present, and the future, and of all the things of the whole of the universe. Bhagavan is saying that is not the real omniscience. The real omniscience is being ourself, where there is no anya. In that ananya bhava, where there is no guru, no shishya, no divisions, nobody to claim such a state exists. In that pure abidance, where there is absolutely nothing, no anya bhava, that is the real fullness of omniscience, says Bhagavan here. And that is what Atma Vichara takes us. By every time inquiring everything which is other, to whom is this? Who am I? Bhagavan takes our attention from the imaginary, unreal, always transcending or transcendental things, always changing things, to that which is unchanging, into that in which nothing other exists, and which is self-luminous. By inquiring, to whom is this? Who am I? And we reach by continuous practice of this Atma Vichara, where there is absolutely none to say there is effort or effortlessness. It is pure, simple being in that undivided truth. And in that state, one is in omniscience, says Bhagavan here, with his abundant grace, with which alone we have come to this most direct path, which helps us to regard the unreal as unreal and regard the real as real. This Atma Vichara, when no matter how many thoughts come, because they are all objective, creates a divide between two, creates a divide of two. We should diligently inquire, to whom is this? Who am I? And turn our attention from the object to the I, and further inquiring, who am I? trace the source of I, or what do I really refer to as I. And when we take a turn and look at that pure being consciousness, that we verily are here and now, unaltered in all the states, and by abiding, by giving reality to that alone, because that is the only thing which is there, all other things keeps coming and going. And by abiding in that pure state, that undivided pure consciousness, that is the true experience of omniscience, says Bhagavan. With his abundant grace, for the next 10 minutes, let us practice Atma Vicharam. Namo Bhagavate Shri Ramanaya.
We will now have the sharing of Devi Kalotra Jnana Vicharapadalam by Dr. Kalarani Rangaswamy.
ஓம் நமோ பகவதே ஸ்ரீ ரமணாய. அருணாச்சலமென அகமே நினைப்பவர் அகத்தை வேறறுப்பாய் அருணாச்சல. Namo Ramana to all. With the abundance grace of Bhagwan, we are meditating on Devi Kalotra Jnana Vicharapadalam, very graciously given to us by Bhagwan in Tamil. And in the last satsang we saw, when the mind inclines towards siddhis, that will not going to help to attain moksha. That will only help for the growth of ahankara. It will lead the sadhakas, never the mukti. Practicing siddhis will create, moreover, bondages. இவை யாவும் பந்தகமாம் இச்சீவனுக்கே. Not only that, Bhagwan says, siddhis will push person to a lower level. வியாபகமாம் சிற்றுருவும் விட்டு. Why? Because அப்பரம முக்தி சுகம் இவைகளில் யாவினும் இல்லை. Mukti is not in these siddhis or acharas or karmas. Once in Bhagwan's days, Mudaliyar Party was also serving food for the devotees and Bhagwan in the dining hall. She served a little bit more of vegetable potatoes in Bhagwan's leaf. And Bhagwan took notice of it. She has poured a bit more potatoes. And in the evening, when she took leave, Bhagwan said, "What did you do today?" "Nothing, Bhagwan. Just recollect and tell me." She said, "Oh, you are asking about the potatoes, a little bit more of potatoes. I put little more to Bhagwan, that's all." Bhagwan said, "Do you think mukti is in potatoes?" What he meant was, will you attain mukti by serving more potatoes to gurus or serving guru? Party said sorry and went. So, doing good services, karmas, siddhas are not going to help one to attain mukti. That is not the only way. So in the next stanza, Bhagwan emphasizes the same point. எல்லா அவஸ்தையினும் எவ்விஷேடத்தானும் தத்வல் அற. Yoga abhyasi must be very sure that in all this state, he should not give any room for any distraction. He must always try to concentrate the mind on the source alone. Yogam tiritonai. He must not doubt the path that he is chosen. He has chosen. Yavvidattum ayyattar. Please have no doubt. That is the only right path. Moreover, in the early stages, Jnana Abhyasi would have tried various methods for attaining Atmavitte. He must have gone for Tirtha Yatra. He must have had darshan of Murtis and would have done seva in the kshetras. He must have followed the anushtanas of the great Kshetradipati by doing regular pujas, doing japa and the like. He would have concentrated very deeply in these karmas. Now, while concentrating the mind to reach its goal, these niyamas would peek in and he might doubt, oh God, is it correct to leave behind all those pujas, tapas which I was doing earlier? Bhagavan says, don't think of that. Concentrate on what you are doing now alone, because thought of these karmas will put you in trouble. Kshetra pīdathir kudugalamam mayyalana matru idanai matre. Because doing seva for the Kshetradipati will no doubt give pleasure. When you serve Bhagavan, it's a great pleasure. When we do puja, it's a great pleasure. But Bhagavan says that is not going to help you for attaining mukti. So, the abhyasi must have ekachintana. That's what Bhagavan emphasizes in these 4-5 stanzas. He must have the ekachintana to merge the mind, ahankara, into its source alone. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya.
Namo Ramanaka. Thank you for having the satsang in the Navaratri Kolu.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We will now have the sharing of Ujjwal Jagadish of Ramanacentre.
Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. We have been meditating on the verses of Ramanacentre written by Ganapati Muni and which have been compiled by Bhagavan Ramana himself. And Ganapati Muni says, Na karuna guna ramana tava vidampate ramana hridaya tejasa ramana sahaja paivate ramana na karuna guna stava vidampate hridaya tejasa sahaja paivate tava tanurjvala tyanaga vidyuta tava drigata lasati bhasvata kabhalitam manas tava vibho hrida tvamasi santatam vilasito muda bhuvana bhupater bhagavata krite bhavasi pachako yamavatampate bhavasi pachako yamavatampate karune gunavalla ninage odayane hridayadi ಹೊಳೆಯುವ ಸಹಜ ಸ್ವರೂಪವೇ ನಿನ್ನಮಲ ದೇಹವು ಮಿಂಚಂತೆ ಹೊಳೆವುದು ನಿನ್ನನಂತ ನೋಟವು ರವಿಯಂತೆ ಮಿರುಗುವುದು ಪ್ರಭುವೆ ನಿನ್ನಯ ಮನವ ಹೃದಯ ನುಂಗಿತು. ಆನಂದದಿ ಹೊಳೆಯುತ್ತ ನೀನಿರುವೆ ಎಂದಿಗೂ. ಭುವನದೊಡೆಯನಾದ ಭಗವಂತ ಸೃಜಿಸಿದ ಪಾಚಕ ನೀನೇ, ಸಂಯಮದ ಅರಸನೇ. ಪಾಚಕ ನೀನೇ, ಸಂಯಮದ ಅರಸನೇ. Ganapati Muni in this verse calls Ramana, "Oh Ramana, you are a cook. A cook, not an ordinary cook, but a cook who has been created by the Supreme Lord, Supreme Arunachala. And you have come because you are a cook who cooks so lovingly. You have come to quench all our hunger. And you have come." In the next verse, he is going to continue that you are not a vegetarian cook, but you are a non-vegetarian cook. And you have come to cook the egos of your devotees and make it pakwa, make it properly baked, and offer that ego which has now become properly baked to Arunachaleshwara, your father. This verse has been remembered by Ganeshanana too when he speaks about the kitchen workers, the mothers in the kitchen. One such mother was Shantammal. Shantammal at a very young age lost her husband and 3 sons, and she had only one daughter who was surviving, and with great difficulty she got that daughter married. But at the time of the childbirth, even that daughter expired. So we see the lives of devotees are filled with this fire of sorrow, which actually makes the devotees grow and turn towards the divine. And she, Shantammal, not having anyone, she was serving some relative, her brother-in-law, in one place. And when she was cooking in the kitchen, amidst all those work in the kitchen, she wondered, a question sprang in her mind. I don't have anybody, but for whom am I serving? Why am I taking all these responsibilities? Who am I? This question came to her, and she left her brother-in-law's place and came to Ramanathapuram, where her friend Muruganar Swami was there. And this year we are celebrating the 100th year of Muruganar Swami coming to Bhagavan. And Muruganar Swami with him brought this friend Shantammal, who was a widow and an orphan, to the presence of Ramana. When she came to Muruganar Swami's house, the first thing which caught her eyesight was this beautiful photograph of Bhagavan. And she wondered, here is my God, I have found my God, but why have I been unknown of this God until now? And she was filled with this urge to go to Arunachala and see Bhagavan. But she did not have enough money to set on the travel. She had to wait for a few months, and some devotees who were going to Tiruvannamalai for the Kartikeya Deepam, they agreed to take Shantammal with them and pay for her ticket. So she travelled with that group, and she stayed for 40 days during that Kartikeya Deepam time at Tiruvannamalai, and every day she made a point to go and bask in the presence of Ramana. And she went to Ramana and told, "Oh Ramana, in your presence I am in heaven. This was my dream of my life, to be with you, and in your presence I am in heaven. I am in peace. I am so calm without any worries. But please bless me that even when I am away, my mind is not troubled with all these worries and thoughts." And Ramana smilingly turned towards Muruganar Swami, who was around, and told Muruganar Swami, she is telling to make her mind free from troubles and worries. But ask her, is there anything called a mind? Ask her, what is the form of the mind? Ask her if a mind has a moustache or a beard. And Muruganar Swami understood. He turned towards Shantamal and told, you have been initiated by Bhagavan. Bhagavan in Upadesha Saram says, Manasam tu kim margane krite naiva manasam marga arjavat. If you inquire what is this mind, what is the nature of the mind, you will understand there is nothing called the mind. Mind is just a knot which does not exist, but connecting two things, which is the Sat, the truth, and this Jada body, which is tying them both. And if one inquires and unknots this knot, the knot is not. The knot disappears. And Shantamal, who is thus initiated, but she does not understand this profound teaching, and she prays to Bhagavan to bless her. And Bhagavan says, if you can wait for one more day, a book of Upadesha Saram is being published. Tomorrow I can give you a copy. So Shantamal stayed back for one day and she got this copy of Upadesha Saram. And she went back and she could not come back to Arunachala for one full year. And then one day she got a letter from Bhagavan. They were celebrating Jayanti of Bhagavan, and Bhagavan suggested that they should write to Shantamal so that she can come and help in the kitchen. And Shantamal somehow got the funds for coming to Arunachala, and she came for good in 1928 and stayed at the ashram. And Ramana, helping her in the kitchen, he slowly and silently made her ready. Once when Chinnaswamy had to go to Chennai, she had to cook alone, and Ramana, who did not want her to be alone, he came and started helping her in the kitchen. And slowly and silently he put the right ingredients in her cooking, her ego, which is in an appropriate way that it becomes ready for the Supreme Arunachala. When they were cooking a vegetable, Ramana told, now the vegetable has boiled enough and has become noiseless. Now add the spices. Although this seems to be an instruction in the kitchen, but this was an instruction to Shantamal that one should one should boil oneself with the tapasya and the sadhana, and when the mind becomes noiseless, the right spice of wisdom has to be put. And Ramana, while cooking, used to taste the food that was prepared, to taste the chutney and the sambar. And Ramana once commented that this work of tasting in the palaces where kings are served, this profession of tasters, the one who tastes the food, the tea tasters and the one who tastes the food, is paid very, very, very high salary. What will you pay for tasting it? Asked Bhagavan. And Shantamal told, what can I give? I am a beggar. What I can give is I can give you myself. Such was the surrender of Shantamal, which was completely accepted by Bhagavan. And we have one beautiful scene which was presented in one of our dance ballets based on Muruganar Swami, where they would have prepared avial in the ashram. And Ramana comments, avial is Muruganar's favorite. Who will go and give him this avial? And Shantamal volunteers that she will go and give it to Muruganar Swami, who is staying in Pallakotu, and she takes a small container and puts the avial, and she rushes to Pallakotu, and she hears from there that he has left already to take Bhiksha towards the town. And she runs and she finds him on the way near the Dakshinamurti temple and says, oh Muruganar, Ramana is thinking about you. Ramana told You love avial and I have brought that to you. And Muruganar Swami is thrilled and he's filled and he cries profusely, tears flows from his eyes, and he says, what Bhagavan is thinking about me? This poor devotee, he is thinking about me. And then he enjoys that avial by pressing it to his eyes, every morsel that he took. Such was the kindness of Bhagavan, which made the devotees very, very sweet and properly baked, so that they are ready to be offered to the Supreme. And in her last few days, when she was very, very old, she came to Bhagavan and she didn't want to be a wait for the ashram. She told, I will take leave and I will go. But Bhagavan told, who will take care of you, Shantammal? In a way telling that, I will take care of you. So she stayed at the ashram till her last moment, and she was absorbed in Arunachala peacefully. Such is the story of the devotees whom Ramana cooked and made them ready to be offered to Arunachala, to be absorbed by Arunachala, and to be one with them. Ganeshanana says that each one of these devotees who have come to Bhagavan Ramana, we are all boulders of Arunachala. We, for some reason, have taken this human form, and Ramana has come to bake us and make us ready to be absorbed by Arunachala, so that we become one with that Arunachala. For this purpose, Ramana has come into our lives, and he is the best cook, says Ganapati Muni. Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Ramanaya.
Namo Ramana. We will now have the sharing of Ramana Ashtottaram written by Vishwanatha Swami. This will be shared by Dr. Sharda.
Namo Ramana. Prostrations to Ramana, shining as the self in all beings. With immense grace of the self manifest as Ramana, in this part of the satsang, we are meditating on Vishwanatha Swami's Ramana Ashtottara Shatanamavali. This is a litany of 108 names on Bhagavan, and a major part of this litany covers the life of Bhagavan as well. Normally, any of these Ashtotras and Sahasranamas, they have more of adjectives describing the deity whom they are praising, describing the Guru whom they are praising. But in this case, Vishwanatha Swami has a combination of Bhagavan's life. And of course, there are the qualities of one who is Gunatita. He is Trigunatita. Many of the devotees have described him as Trigunatita. C.N. Shastri also says, Trigunatita Niranjana Rupam. So he is beyond all gunas, and still we are praising his gunas. Why is it so? Because by meditating on those gunas, we imbibe those characteristics. Those characteristics become ours. When we meditate on Bhagavan as Veda Vedanta Tattvajna, the essence of the knowledge of Veda and Vedanta comes to us also. And of course, we recognize that our Sadguru is the essence of all the Vedas. We need not go anywhere else. We need not turn anywhere else. And when we do not turn anywhere else, when we have a single focus, a unifocus, when the mind is focused just on one thing, well, slowly what happens is that the mind loses its nature of wandering. The mind what is the mind? The mind is actually thoughts, not one thought, many thoughts. So when the many thoughts become one thought, the very nature of the mind changes. The mind becomes something very different from what it was. It is now no longer having waves after waves after waves of looking at objects, moving towards objects. It becomes more and more silent. It becomes more and more inward. It becomes therefore more and more joyous. So when there is faith that Bhagavan is the essence, when there is faith in anything, the mind loses fear. Fear is on account of not having faith. When we have faith that Bhagavan takes care of our lives, no matter where he puts us. See, Bhagavan told Mother Azhagamma that the Supreme One takes care of everyone's destiny. So don't waste your time worrying about it. We think that it's a very bad thing, that we don't have any freedom. Bhagavan said, everyone is moved according to his or her destiny. By whom? By the Supreme Lord. And where is that Supreme Lord? He is everywhere. He is with each and every person. Angang irundu. He is with each and every person doing what? Making sure that they experience what they have to experience according to the divine plan. Now, is it that our freedom has been cut away from us? Is it that we are bound? Is it that we are suffering because the Lord has planned suffering for us, or that is part of our destiny? No, the divine plan is a loving plan. It's always a loving plan. So why is it that we have suffering? Why is it that we have pain? Sometimes we have to have pain. See, the surgeon operates on us in order to cure us. Or the surgeon may give us an injection in order to cure us. The injection may be painful, but it helps us to get well. Similarly, sometimes difficulties in life, difficult processes help us to get well. What is that getting well? Even now Ujjwal was saying that Shantamma had a life of great suffering. But where did it bring that? Where did it bring her? It brought her to Bhagavan Ramana. And what happened when she came to Bhagavan Ramana? She became filled with peace and joy. So the process was that she was turned away from that which would give her sorrow, so that she could experience her own natural bliss, her own natural peace. Sometimes the parents, when the children are young, they may get involved in something which is dangerous. So say, for example, if they want to touch the flame of a candle, the parents will say, don't do that. It will burn you. It will hurt you. And sometimes they even frighten the child. Sometimes they're frightened. They don't say it's not, they say, if you do that, you just see what I'll do to you. Now, what is the reason for the parents to frighten the child? The reason is only out of love. And sometimes out of love itself, sometimes if the child is ready to listen to the parent's word itself, then the parent does not scold the child. The parent will cajole the child. But the child has to be ready. Now, when does the child get ready? The child gets ready when the child either realizes there is a problem in that situation which my mother or father is telling me not to go to, or the child is happy where he or she is. So both ways, Bhagavan gives us the experience. On the one side, he says, yes, this life will be full of miseries. He says the body, it's a disease. The body is a disease. Because what is a disease? It is something which is not natural. When we have that which is natural, we feel comfortable. When we are in the natural state, we feel comfortable. Then something becomes different. Normally, we don't have a headache. But if we get a headache, oh my God, that is something different. So we are not at ease, dis-ease. So Bhagavan takes us back to that which is natural. That is the essence of the Veda. So he has embodied the Vedas and come. Why is he the embodiment of the Vedas? To reveal the truth of the Vedas, reveal the truth of our own self to one and all. That's why Bhagavan has become Vedanayakan, Vedabhushanan, Vedame Uruvanavan. Satyamangalam Venkatramaya says, Vedanayakan, Vedabhushanan, Vedame Uruvanavan. Kadalai Paravarinir. So he's out of love. He has mingled in the Supreme. Kadalai. Because he is the very embodiment of the Vedas. Why did the Vedas become embodied? Why did the essence of the Veda become embodied? Why did Arunachala bless Ramana with the essential experience of the Vedas? Bhagavan says in Navamani Malai, he says, you know why? You know why Arunachala gave me his own state? He gave me his own state even before I knew what is this world, what is any difficulty. Immahimayan Arkadal Wind Yan Arndidum Mun, even before I could fall into these difficulties, he had taken me to himself. But you know why he did that? Sharikat Tanmayam Shivakat Chinmayam. So that the entire world will be blessed with the beauty of the Chinmaya, the consciousness, the all-pervading consciousness, Chinmaya. It is called, our self is called Tanmaya. It is also called Chinmaya. Tanmaya is that which is Sat, existence. Chinmaya is Chit, consciousness. There is existence and there is consciousness. So it is Chinmaya. That is the experience. And that's why Vishwanatha Swami in the next Nama, he says, Chinmudrine Namaha. What is the Chin Mudra? Physically, the Chin Mudra is the coming together of the thumb and the forefinger. This is the Chin Mudra. What does this mudra signify? Who holds this mudra? This mudra is typically held by Dakshinamurti. Dakshinamurti as the Chin Mudra. And what does this Chin Mudra signify? Volumes have been written about the meaning of the Chin Mudra. But it means Jiva Brahma Aikya, they say. This is one is a separate individuality. This is the thumb is the basis. So it is the linkage of the multiple, the identity with that which is the basis. It is the merging of the I thought in the self. It is the loss of individuality into the self. So that is the Chin Mudra. It indicates the oneness. It indicates the non-duality, the Chin Mudra. Through silence itself, Dakshinamurti, using the Chin Mudra, gives this experience to all his disciples, the Sanakadis. They are called Sanaka, Sanandana, Sanat Sujata, and Sanaka, Sanandana, Sanat Sujata, Sanat, I forgot that fourth one, Sanat Kumara, Sanat Sujata. So all of them are taught this silence by silence. Taught the silence by silence. So Bhagavan, in his early years at Tiruvannamalai, he remained in that silence. Physically also he remained in the silence. Bhagavan always was in silence. So Chin Mudra means silence. It reveals the glory of silence. It reveals what Dakshinamurti stands for. The moment the word Chinmudra comes to our minds, immediately the mind goes back to Dakshinamurti and also to the Arunagiri Yogi. The Arunagiri Yogi, who is the Arunagiri Yogi? He is the embodiment of Arunachala as Shiva Swarupa, as a Yoga Swarupa. And it is said that he is ever residing under a huge banyan tree in the northern part of Arunachala. Somewhere in a mysterious sense, he is seated there. It's the way he is seated and the tree, everything is very mystical. It cannot be seen by the physical eye or experienced easily even by a subtle mind. We have Bhagavan's experience of going and almost seeing this Arunagiri Yogi. One day when Bhagavan was walking on the hill, he suddenly found that a huge banyan leaf, a leaf which is as big as a leaf plate on which people would eat food. Such a big banyan leaf came floating in the wind and fell near his feet. So he saw the direction from which it was coming and he felt that, oh, yes, I can see a very big tree. So this may be the tree under which Arunagiri Yogi is seated. So he was curious, he says, and he started moving towards that tree. When he was moving towards that tree, his left thigh, accidentally hit against a hornet's nest. A hornet is, I am told, it's a kind of a wild bee, a very big and very menacing bee, huge bee, which has a really very painful sting. So this hornet's nest, unwittingly, Bhagavan disturbed it. His thigh rubbed against it and the nest got disturbed. The hornets became angry. They all came out and they started stinging that thigh of Bhagavan. Only that thigh. Normally when bees come out in a swarm, they actually attack the whole body of a person. So it can be very frightening also. But these hornets only stung the left thigh, what Bhagavan calls the offending thigh. And Bhagavan did not try to move away or run away or do anything. And after that, his leg got swollen very badly. With a lot of difficulty, he somehow slowly dragged himself back to Virupaksha cave. And then all the stings were removed and the ointments were applied. And slowly his leg was healed. Later, Muruganar Swami asked Bhagavan, why did you not move away? You did not purposely hurt the hornets. But Bhagavan said, I may not have purposely hurt the hornets, but their home was disturbed. So should I not feel bad about it? Should I not repent about it? If I don't repent about hurting somebody, of what kind of a person will I be if I don't repent for it? So a person must repent for hurting somebody else in whatever way. If by chance or by mistake also, if we hurt somebody, we need to feel bad. Oh, I'm sorry, I hurt you. I had no intention to hurt you. We have to try and explain. And if by chance that person gets angry with us, we have to accept that anger because we have hurt them. And Bhagavan accepted this and he did not go to see the tree under which the Arunagiri Yogi is seated. But he has indicated that this is where the Arunagiri Yogi is seated with a Chinmudra. And that is how Bhagavan was manifest when he was young. It is not that he actually physically held the Chinmudra. But if we look at Bhagavan's photos, in many photos, we will find, as I was told by Ganesha, there is a secret. He holds the Chinmudra very almost secretly and subtly. He will hold it like this, and when he turns it this way, you will not see that he is holding the Chin Mudra. Where in many pictures, Bhagavan can be seen holding the Chin Mudra as well. Now, why hold it? Why make this connection? It helps the mind to quieten. This connection of the thumb and the forefinger, it helps the mind to become quiet. That's why when sitting in meditation also, many people hold this mudra. And Bhagavan also simply holds it very naturally, like this, as I said, holding it in a way that in whichever posture his hand may be. Very often we find that he holds the forefinger to the thumb. He touches the forefinger to the thumb and holds the Chin Mudra to indicate to us the beauty of that Chin Mudra, and more than that, the significance of what it symbolizes, which is abiding in the self. Om Namo Bhagavate Shri.
We will now have the chanting of Aksharamana Male by Srimati Viradha.
अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल கோபமில் குணத்தோய் குறியாயனை கொள்ள குறையன் செய்தேன் அருணாச்சலம் கௌதமர் போற்றும் கருணை மமலையே கடைக்கணி தாழ்வாய் அருணாச்சலம் சகலமும் விழுங்கும் கதிரொளியின மன ஜலஜமலர் தீடருணாச்சலம் சாப்பாடுன்னை சார்ந்துணவாயான் சாந்தமாய் போவன் அருணாச்சலம் சித்தம் குளிர கதிரஸ்தம் வைத்த முதவையை திர அருள்மதி அருணாச்சலம் சீரையழித்த நிர்வாணம செய்தருள் சீரையழித்தருள் அருணாச்சலம் சுகக்கடல் பொங்க சொல்லுணர்வடங்க சும்மா பொருந்திடங்க அருணாச்சலம் சூது செய்தென்னை சோதியதினி உன்றோதி ஒரு காட்டருணாச்சலம் செப்படி வித்தை கற்றிப்படி மயக்கு விட்டுருபடு வித்தை காட்டருணாச்சலம் சேராயனின்மை நீராயுருகி கண்ணீராற்றழிவேன் அருணாச்சலம் சீயன தள்ளிர் செய்வினை சுடுமலர் உய்வகையே துரை அருணாச்சலம் சொல்லாது சொல்லி நீ சொல்லரனில் என்று சும்மா இருந்தாய் அருணாச்சலம் அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சலா அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சலாம் 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 அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சலா அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சலா அருணாச்சலம் வாழி அன்பர்களும் வாழி அக்ஷரமணம் மாலை வாழி. நமோ ரமண.
Namo Ramana. We will conclude today's satsang with the Ashtottara Puja to Bhagavan. The Ashtottara Puja will happen at Sri Dilip Simha's altar and will be performed by Sri Dilip Simha. The Ashtottaram will be chanted by Vaibhavji, Prarthana and Revati Shankar. The Aarti song will be presented by Dr. Pratibha.
Namo Ramana. भारद्वाज विश्वनाथ विरचितम् श्रीरमणाष्टोत्तरशतनामावली अपार सच्चित् सुखवारिराशे यस्योर्मिमात्रम् भुवनम् समस्तम् गुहाहितं तं रमणं गभीरम् चिन्ताविहीनं हृदि चिन्तयामि। ॐ महासेन महंसेन जाताय नमः। ॐ श्रीरमणाय नमः। ॐ गुरवे नमः। ॐ अखण्डसंविदाकाराय नमः। ॐ महौजसे नमः। ॐ कारणोद्भवाय नमः। ॐ जगद्धितावताराय नमः। ॐ श्रीभूमिनाथस्थलोस्थिताय नमः। ॐ पराशरकुलोत्तंसाय नमः। ॐ सुन्दरार्यतपःफलाय नमः। ॐ कमनीयसुचारित्राय नमः। ॐ सहायाम्बासहायवते नमः। ॐ शोणाचलमहोलीनमानसाय नमः। ॐ स्वर्णहस्तकाय नमः। ॐ श्रीमद्वादशान्तमहास्थले लब्धविद्योदयाय नमः। ॐ महाशक्तिनिपातेन प्रबुद्धाय नमः। ॐ परमार्थविदे नमः। ॐ तीव्राय नमः। ॐ पितृपदान्वेषिणे नमः। ॐ इन्दुमौलिना पितृमते नमः। ॐ पितुरादेशतः शोर्णशैलं प्राप्ताय नमः। ॐ तपोमयाय नमः। ॐ उदासीनाय नमः। ॐ महायोगिने नमः। ॐ महोत्साहाय नमः। ॐ कुशाग्रविये नमः। ॐ शान्तसङ्कल्पसंब्रह्माय नमः। ॐ सुसन्दृशे नमः। ॐ सवित्रे नमः। ॐ स्थिराय नमः। ॐ तपक्षपितसर्वाङ्गाय नमः। ॐ पुल्लाम्बुजविलोचनाय नमः। ॐ चन्द्रिकासितहासश्रीमण्डिताननमण्डलाय नमः। ॐ चूतवाट्यां समासीनाय नमः। ॐ चूडिताखिलविभ्रमाय नमः। ॐ वेदवेदान्ततत्त्वज्ञाय नमः। ॐ चिन्मुद्रिणे नमः। ॐ त्रिगुणातिगाय नमः। ॐ विरूपाक्षगुहावासाय नमः। ॐ विराजदशलाकृतये नमः। ॐ उद्दीप्तनयनाय नमः। ॐ पूर्णाय नमः। ॐ रचिताचलताण्डवाय नमः। ॐ गम्भीराय नमः। ॐ परमाचार्याय नमः। ॐ सुप्रसन्नाय नमः। ॐ अभयप्रदाय नमः। ॐ दक्षिणास्यनिभाय नमः। ॐ धीराय नमः। ॐ दक्षिणाभिमुखाय नमः। ॐ स्वराजे नमः। ॐ महर्षये नमः। ॐ भगवते नमः। ॐ ईड्याय नमः।
ॐ भूमविद्याविशारदाय नमः। ॐ विमलाय नमः। ॐ दीर्घदर्शिने नमः। ॐ आप्ताय नमः। ॐ ऋजुमार्गप्रदर्शकाय नमः। ॐ समदृशे नमः। ॐ सत्यदृशे नमः। ॐ सत्याय नमः। ॐ प्रशान्ताय नमः। ॐ अमितविक्रमाय नमः। ॐ सुकुमाराय नमः। ॐ सदानन्दाय नमः। ॐ मृदुभाषिणे नमः। ॐ दयार्णवाय नमः। ॐ श्रीशोणाचलहृद्भूतस्कन्दाश्रमनिकेतनाय नमः। ॐ सद्दर्शनोपदेष्ट्रे नमः। ॐ सद्भक्तवृन्दपरिवृताय नमः। ॐ गणेशमुनिभृङ्गेन सेविताङ्घ्रिसरोरुहाय नमः। ॐ गीतोपदेशसारादिग्रन्थसञ्चिन्नसंशयाय नमः। ॐ वर्णाश्रममतातीताय नमः। ॐ रसज्ञाय नमः। ॐ सौम्याय नमः। ॐ आत्मवते नमः। ॐ सर्वावनिमतस्थानाम् आराध्याय नमः। ॐ सर्वसद्गुणिने नमः। ॐ आत्मारामाय नमः। ॐ महाभागाय नमः। ॐ मातृमुक्तिविदायकाय नमः। ॐ विनताय नमः। ॐ विनुताय नमः। ॐ विप्राय नमः। ॐ मुनीन्द्राय नमः। ॐ पावकोज्ज्वलाय नमः। ॐ दर्शनादघसंहारिणे नमः। ॐ मौनेन स्वात्मबोधकाय नमः। ॐ हृच्छान्तिकरसान्निध्याय नमः। ॐ स्मरणाद्बन्धमोचकाय नमः। ॐ अन्तस्तिमिरचण्डांशवे नमः। ॐ संसारार्णवतारकाय नमः। ॐ शोणाद्रीशस्तुतिद्रष्ट्रे नमः। ॐ हार्दविद्याप्रकाशकाय नमः। ॐ अविच्युतनिजप्रज्ञाय नमः। ॐ नैसर्गिकमहातपसे नमः। ॐ कमण्डलुधराय नमः। ॐ शुभ्रकौपीनवसनाय नमः। ॐ गुहाय नमः। ॐ दण्डपाणये नमः। ॐ कृपापूर्णाय नमः। ॐ भवरोगभिषग्वराय नमः। ॐ स्कन्दाय नमः। ॐ देवतमाय नमः। ॐ अमर्त्याय नमः। ॐ सेनान्ये नमः। ॐ पुरुषोत्तमाय नमः।
ॐ श्रीरमण भगवते नमः। अष्टोत्तरशतनाम पूजां समर्पयामि। यस्थाणोररुणाचलस्य पदयोः स्मृत्या जनिं प्राप्यत दिव्यानुग्रहसुप्रवाहविवशस्थादात्म्यभावं गतः रन्निष्ठस्वगभीरनित्यतपसा लोकान् पुनास्येकराट् तस्मै श्रीरमणाय ते नम इदं लोकोत्तरज्योतिषे। नमो 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 रमण सदाशिव प्रभावर्ण नमो महर्षि नमो महर्षि दर्शन सुख मंगल मुख सकल जीवहित सम्मुख ब्रह्म संगिये सदा तुष्ट सदा हृष्ट सदा शिव नंदपुष्ट परम महर्षि ब्रह्मनिष्ठ समदर्शि नमो 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 रमण सदाशिव प्रभावर्ण नमो महर्षि नमो महर्षि ನಮ್ಮ ಮನವದೊಂದು ಕಾಡು ನೀನರಿತಿಯೇ ಅದರ ಜಾಡು ಹಿತವನರಿತು ನೀಡುತ್ತೆಮ್ಮ ಕೊರೆಯ ತಣಿಸಲೈ ಬೇಡಲೆಂದು ಬಂದ ನಾವು ನೋಡಿಯೇ ತಣಿವೆವಯ್ಯ ಮೂಡಿಗಾರನೇ ಹಿತವ ನುಡಿದು ಪೊರೆ ನಮ್ಮನು ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಸಂಗಿಯೇ नमो 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 रमण सदाशिव प्रभावर्ण नमो महर्षि नमो महर्षि बोलो भगवान रमण महर्षि की जय।